The light was burning through her hands and Miriam could not stop screaming. Not from pain. From terror. From awe. From the impossible reality that God Almighty was answering her prayer inside a vampire castle, and if anyone walked through that door in the next 10 seconds, she was dead. The golden glow poured from her palms onto 3 dying children she barely knew, children she had no right to touch, and she could hear footsteps pounding up the corridor. Heavy. Fast. Furious. The Vampire King was coming. She should run. Every instinct told her to run. But the littlest one, Thea, had just taken her first real breath in weeks, and Miriam would die before she stopped praying now. "Please God, let them live," she sobbed. "Let them live. Let them live." The door exploded open. Alaric Thorne stood there, fangs bared, eyes wild, staring at the human girl kneeling in light that should not exist, touching his children who should not be breathing. And in that single moment, everything changed forever. "Before we dive back in, I need your strength. My ex said I will always remain irrelevant and that no one would subscribe to this channel. You can help heal that wound. Hit subscribe and comment your location to show him he misjudged me badly." The Vampire King had conquered kingdoms, crushed armies, and lived for over 7 centuries without ever begging. But tonight, Alaric Thorne knelt beside 3 small beds, his hands trembling as he watched his children take shallow, rattling breaths. The triplets, Celeste, Elias, and Thea, lay pale as moonlight, their small chests barely rising. Every healer in the realm had come and gone. Every ancient spell had failed. The most powerful vampire in existence was helpless, and it was killing him slower than any stake ever could. He pressed his forehead against Celeste's tiny hand. She was only 5 years old. They all were. And they were slipping away. In the servants' wing, 3 floors below, 17-year-old Miriam pressed her ear to the cold stone wall and listened to the muffled weeping that even the thick castle stones couldn't contain. Her mother, the new head maid, had warned her a dozen times. "Do not wander. Do not speak unless spoken to. Do not let them notice you. Vampires do not care for human girls with kind hearts and dangerous hope." But Miriam had already broken the first rule. She had seen the children yesterday, carried past her on silk stretchers, their lips blue, their eyes closed. Something inside her chest had cracked wide open. Now, alone in the dark, she closed her eyes and whispered the first 3 words of a prayer she knew could get her killed. "Before we go any further, I need to know something. Where in the world are you watching this from? Seriously, drop a comment right now and tell me your country, your city, because I love knowing that this story is reaching you, wherever you are. It means everything to me. And listen, if you are not already subscribed, what are we even doing here? You are about to witness one of the most emotional vampire love stories I have ever written, and trust me, you do not want to miss what is coming next. Hit that subscribe button and join the fastest growing vampire love stories community on YouTube. We have so much planned for you, and you are special. Do not let this be the one story you walk away from without staying connected. Now let's get back to Miriam, because what she is about to do will change everything. Miriam waited until the moon disappeared behind clouds. She slipped through the servants' corridor, past the kitchens, up the spiral staircase she had been forbidden to climb. Her heart hammered so loud she was certain every vampire in the castle could hear it. But she kept moving. The children's wing was guarded, but the guards had stepped away, probably summoned by the king himself. She pushed open the heavy door. The room smelled like dying flowers and something else. Something fading. The triplets lay in their beds, so still they looked like porcelain dolls. Miriam's breath caught. Up close, they were even smaller than she remembered. Celeste's little fingers were curled into a fist. Elias had a stuffed wolf tucked under his arm. Thea's lips were moving, like she was dreaming, but no sound came out. Miriam knelt between the 3 beds. Her hands were shaking. She knew what she was about to do could be considered blasphemy by some, treason by others. Vampires did not pray to God. They were children of darkness, cursed and cast out. But these were babies. Innocent babies. And God was love, was he not? She closed her eyes, clasped her hands together, and spoke in a trembling whisper. God Almighty, I do not know if you listen to prayers spoken in places like this. I do not know if I have the right to ask. But these children are dying, and I cannot stand by and watch. They did not choose this life. They did not choose darkness. If you need a sacrifice, take me. If you need a bridge, use me. But please, please, do not let them fade. The air in the room shifted. It was not wind. It was not cold. It was presence. Thick, undeniable, holy. The candles flickered, then blazed twice as bright. Miriam gasped. A warmth spread from her chest down through her arms, into her fingertips. Before she could understand what was happening, light poured out of her hands, soft and golden, spilling onto the children like liquid sunrise. She did not stop praying. Tears streamed down her face. Let them live. Let them live. Let them live. And then she heard it. A breath. A real breath. Celeste's chest rose, full and deep. Then Elias stirred. Then Thea's eyes fluttered open, bright and clear. Miriam's heart nearly exploded. But before she could cry out in relief, the door slammed open. The Vampire King stood in the doorway, his eyes wild, his fangs bared. And he was staring right at her. Alaric could not process what he was seeing. A human girl, kneeling in his children's room, glowing like she had swallowed the sun. And his children, his dying children, were waking up. What did you do? His voice came out like gravel and thunder. He crossed the room in half a second, grabbing her by the shoulders and lifting her to her feet. What did you do to them? Miriam's eyes were wide, terrified, but she did not look away. I prayed. You what? I prayed to God. For them. I am sorry, I know I was not supposed to be here. I know it was not my place, but they were dying and I just could not. You prayed. He repeated it like the words were poison. He released her and stepped back, looking at his children. Celeste was sitting up now, rubbing her eyes. Elias yawned. Thea reached for him with a sleepy smile. Papa? Alaric's knees almost gave out. He went to them, pulling all 3 into his arms, holding them so tight he was afraid he might break them. They were warm. They were alive. He could feel their pulses, steady and strong. But that was impossible. He turned back to Miriam, his expression torn between fury and confusion. You are human. You have no magic. You should not have been able to. I did not do it, Miriam interrupted, her voice stronger now. God did. Alaric flinched like she had struck him. That name had not been spoken in his castle for 200 years. He had forsaken that name. He had been forsaken by it. Get out, he said coldly. Miriam blinked. What? Get out of this room. Now. Before I forget that you just saved my children and remember that you are trespassing. She opened her mouth to argue, then thought better of it. She backed toward the door, her eyes still on the triplets, relief and heartbreak mixing on her face. She had saved them. But he was pushing her away. She left without another word. Alaric stood alone with his children, his hands still shaking. He should have been filled with gratitude. Instead, all he felt was dread. Because if God had answered her prayer, that meant something had shifted. A debt had been created. A doorway had been opened. And Alaric knew better than anyone that nothing came without a price. Miriam did not sleep that night. She sat on her thin mattress in the servants' quarters, replaying every second. The light. The warmth. The way the children had opened their eyes. It had been real. She had not imagined it. But the king's face, cold and angry, that had been real too. The next morning, her mother shook her awake before dawn. The king has summoned you. Miriam's stomach dropped. What? I do not know what you did, Miriam, but he wants to see you in his private study. Now. She dressed quickly, her hands clumsy with fear. Was he going to punish her? Exile her? Worse? But when she entered the study, Alaric was not alone. The triplets were there, sitting on a velvet couch, eating pastries and giggling. They looked healthier than any sick children had a right to look. Celeste saw her first. "You are the glowing lady." Miriam froze. Alaric stood by the window, his arms crossed. He looked like he had not slept either. "Sit," he said, gesturing to a chair. She sat. He studied her for a long moment, his jaw tight. "My children have been asking for you all morning. They say you sang to them. They say you made the room warm. They will not stop talking about you." Miriam swallowed hard. "I am glad they are well." "That is not enough," Alaric said quietly. "I need to understand what happened. What you did. Because this morning, my court healer examined them. The curse is gone. Completely. No trace. In 700 years, I have never seen anything like it." He stepped closer, and his voice dropped. "So here is what is going to happen. You are going to stay in this castle. You are going to stay close to my children. And you are going to help me figure out how a human girl with no magic broke a curse that has baffled every witch and warlock in my kingdom." Miriam's pulse raced. "You want me to stay?" "I do not want anything," he snapped. "But my children are alive because of you, and until I know why, you are not leaving my sight." It was not gratitude. It was not trust. But it was proximity. And for now, that was enough. "All right, I have to pause here for a second. If you are still watching, if you are feeling what I am feeling writing this, do me one favor. Hit that like button. I spent hours crafting this story for you, and it takes you 1 second to let me know it is worth it. Just one click. Do not break my heart. And drop a comment, tell me, do you think Alaric is protecting his children or protecting his own heart? I want to know what you think. 3 days passed. Miriam was given a room in the children's wing, much to the shock of every servant in the castle. She spent her mornings with the triplets, reading them stories, braiding Celeste's hair, teaching Elias how to sketch, and listening to Thea's endless questions about the sun. They had never seen it. Not directly. It would burn them. But they were fascinated by her stories of daylight. Alaric watched from a distance, always present but never close. He sat in the corner of the room during lessons, his expression unreadable. Miriam tried to ignore the weight of his gaze, but it was impossible. He was not just a king. He was a storm barely contained. On the 4th night, after the children had gone to sleep, he finally spoke. "Walk with me." It was not a request. They walked through the castle gardens, past marble fountains and blood-red roses that bloomed only in moonlight. Miriam wrapped her arms around herself. The night was cold, but Alaric did not seem to notice. "You want to know why they were cursed," he said. She looked at him, surprised. I did not want to ask. You should. He stopped beside a stone bench and sat, gesturing for her to do the same. She did. He stared at the sky, his voice distant. Their mother was human. Like you. Miriam's breath caught. Her name was Katerina. She was a painter. I met her in a village I was passing through. I should have kept moving. But I did not. His jaw tightened. I loved her. I turned her so we could be together forever. We had the triplets a year later. For 5 years, we were happy. I thought I had beaten the curse of loneliness that comes with immortality. He paused, and the silence was heavy. Then a witch came to my gates. An old enemy. She said I had forsaken the natural order. That a vampire king had no right to happiness. No right to love. No right to children. She cursed them. Told me they would waste away slowly, and I would watch, powerless. Miriam's heart broke. And their mother? Alaric's voice cracked, just barely. Katerina tried to stop the witch. She died protecting them. I killed the witch, but the curse had already taken root. I have spent 5 years searching for a cure. I called in every favor. I begged enemies. I prayed. He turned to look at Miriam, and his eyes were raw. I prayed, Miriam. Once. On my knees. I asked God to save them. And I heard nothing. Silence. I thought I had been abandoned. That we all had been. Miriam's throat was tight. And then I prayed. And then you prayed, he repeated bitterly. And he answered you. A human girl with nothing to offer. Why you? Why not me? Why not their mother? She did not have an answer. She reached out slowly and placed her hand on his. He stiffened but did not pull away. Maybe it was not about who prayed, she said softly. Maybe it was about the children finally having someone who believed they were worth saving, no matter what they were. Alaric stared at her hand on his. Something in his chest twisted painfully. He had not let anyone touch him with gentleness since Katerina died. You are dangerous, he whispered. Why? Because you make me hope again. The days that followed were different. Alaric stopped watching from the shadows. He joined them. He played with his children, told them stories of old battles, let Celeste braid his hair while Miriam laughed so hard she cried. Elias challenged him to a duel with wooden swords, and Alaric let him win. Thea fell asleep in his lap, her small hand curled around his thumb. And Miriam saw a side of the vampire king no one else did. The father. The man. The soul buried beneath centuries of armor. One evening, after the children were asleep, Alaric found Miriam in the library. She was curled up in a chair, reading by candlelight. He sat across from her, holding 2 glasses of wine. He offered her one. I do not drink, she said shyly. It is grape juice. She laughed, and the sound made him smile. A real smile. She took the glass. Tell me about you, he said. I have told you my ghosts. What are yours? Miriam hesitated. I do not have ghosts. Just questions. Like why my father left when I was 3. Like why my mother works herself to exhaustion and still smiles. Like why I feel more at home in this castle full of vampires than I ever did in the village. Alaric leaned forward. You are lonely. I was, she admitted. But not anymore. Their eyes met, and the air between them thickened. He stood, crossed the space between them, and knelt in front of her chair so they were eye to eye. "Miriam," he said quietly, "I do not know what you have done to me. But I cannot stop thinking about you. The way you love my children. The way you look at the world like it still holds wonder. The way you prayed for them when no one else would." Her breath hitched. "Alaric. I know this is impossible," he continued. "I know I am a monster. I know you deserve sunlight and warmth and a life I cannot give you. But I need you to know. You have brought my family back to life. And maybe you have brought me back too." Miriam's eyes filled with tears. She reached out and cupped his face with trembling hands. "You are not a monster," she whispered. "You are a father. You are a man who loves so deeply it scares you. And I..." She stopped, terrified of the words. "Say it," he breathed. "I am falling in love with you." He closed his eyes like the words were a knife and a bomb all at once. Then he kissed her. Soft, desperate, full of every unspoken thing he had buried for 5 years. She kissed him back, and for a moment, the world was nothing but the two of them. When they pulled apart, he rested his forehead against hers. "Stay," he whispered. "Stay with us. With me." "I am not going anywhere," she promised. But promises, she would learn, were fragile things. It happened 3 nights later. A messenger arrived at dawn, a vampire from the High Council. They had heard rumors. A human living in the Vampire King's private wing. A human who had broken a curse with prayer. A human who had invoked the name of God within a vampire stronghold. They called it sacrilege. They called it a threat to their kind. And they demanded her removal. Alaric refused. He stood in his throne room, flanked by his guards, and told the council's messenger to leave and never return. But the damage was done. That night, Miriam overheard 2 servants whispering in the hall. They said the council was threatening war. They said other kingdoms were watching. They said Alaric was risking everything, his throne, his alliances, his children's future, all for a human girl. Miriam's chest tightened. She went to find Alaric. He was in his study, pacing like a caged animal. "Is it true?" she asked. "The council is threatening you because of me?" He stopped. Turned. His face was hard. "It does not matter." "It does matter." Her voice broke. "Alaric, I cannot let you lose everything because of me. Your children need you. Your kingdom needs you." "I need you," he said fiercely. "No." She shook her head, tears streaming. "You need stability. You need peace. And I am bringing you chaos. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe I should never have prayed. Maybe..." "Do not say that." He crossed to her, gripping her arms. "Do not you dare say saving my children was a mistake. I am not talking about them," she cried. "I am talking about us. This, whatever this is, it is going to destroy you. And I cannot live with that." His grip loosened. His expression shifted from anger to something worse. Betrayal. "So you are leaving?" "I have to." "You promised," he said, his voice breaking. "You promised you were not going anywhere." "I promised before I knew loving me could cost you everything." He stepped back, his face closing off completely. The walls went up. The king returned. "Then go," he said coldly. "If you think so little of what we have that you would run at the first sign of trouble, then go. I do not need someone who does not fight for what they love." The words hit her like a slap. "That is not fair," she whispered. Life is not fair, he said. Get out. Miriam stood there, shaking, waiting for him to take it back. But he turned away from her, his shoulders rigid. So she left. She packed her small bag, kissed each of the sleeping triplets on the forehead, and walked out of the castle in the middle of the night. Her mother begged her to explain. She could not. And Alaric stood at his window, watching her disappear into the darkness, his hands clenched into fists. He did not go after her. He told himself it was for the best. He told himself he did not need her. But when he returned to his chambers and saw the book she had left on his nightstand, the one she had been reading to the children, he fell to his knees and let himself break. Okay, listen. I need you to pause and comment right now. Tell me, was Miriam right to leave, or should she have stayed and fought? Because I am emotionally wrecked writing this, and I need to know you are feeling it too. Comment below. And if you have not subscribed yet, imagine watching all this story and not subscribing. Do not do me like that. Hit the button. Join this family. We are just getting started. Miriam returned to her village. She helped her mother in their small cottage. She tried to forget the castle, the children's laughter, the way Alaric had looked at her like she was the only light in his darkness. But she could not. Every night, she prayed. Not for herself. For them. For the triplets. For Alaric. For protection over the family she had walked away from. On the seventh night, she woke to a sound outside her window. A soft thud. She opened it and found a letter tied to a stone. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. The handwriting was shaky, childish. Dear glowing lady, Papa will not eat. He will not play. He sits in the dark and says your name when he thinks we are not listening. Celeste says he is broken. Elias says we need you. I say please come back. We miss you. Love, Thea. Miriam pressed the letter to her chest and sobbed. She had thought leaving was the brave thing. The selfless thing. But all she had done was hurt the people she loved. She had run because she was afraid. Afraid of the cost. Afraid she was not enough. But love was not about being enough. It was about choosing to stay even when it was hard. She grabbed her cloak. Meanwhile, Alaric sat alone in the children's room, watching them sleep. He had been a fool. He had pushed her away because he was terrified of losing her. But he had lost her anyway. And it was his own fault. Celeste stirred and opened her eyes. Papa, are you sad? He tried to smile. No, little one. You are lying. She sat up, her small face serious. You love her. Why did you let her go? Alaric's throat tightened. Because I thought I was protecting her. From what? From me. From this life. Celeste climbed into his lap and put her tiny hands on his cheeks. Papa, she saved us. She prayed for us when no one else did. Maybe God sent her to save you too. Maybe you should stop being scared and go get her. Out of the mouths of babes. Alaric kissed his daughter's forehead, stood, and made his decision. He would go to her. He would beg if he had to. He would fight the council, fight the entire world if it meant keeping her. He threw open the doors to leave and froze. Miriam stood in the hallway, breathless, her cloak still dusty from the road. They stared at each other. I could not stay away, she whispered. I was coming for you, he said. And then they crashed together, his arms around her, her face buried in his chest. He held her like he would never let go. I am sorry, he breathed into her hair. I am so sorry. I was afraid and I hurt you and I. Stop, she said, pulling back to look at him. I was afraid too. I ran. But I am done running. I do not care what the council says. I do not care what anyone says. I choose you. I choose this family. I choose love. Alaric cupped her face, his eyes shining. You are the bravest person I have ever known. Then let me stay. Let me fight beside you. Always, he promised. And he kissed her like it was the first and last kiss in the world. The next morning, Alaric called an emergency meeting with the High Council. They arrived with cold faces and colder words, ready to demand Miriam's exile or worse. But Alaric did not give them the chance. He stood before them, Miriam at his side, his children behind him. You say she is a threat, Alaric began, his voice calm but edged with steel. You say her presence here is sacrilege. But let me tell you what I see. I see a woman who prayed for children who were not hers. Who asked for nothing in return. Who gave everything. My children were dying. Your healers failed. Your witches failed. Every piece of dark magic in this kingdom failed. And a human girl with faith succeeded. He took Miriam's hand. You want to call that a threat? I call it a miracle. And if you try to take her from me, from them, you will have to go through me. I am your king. And I am choosing love over fear. I am choosing light over darkness. If that costs me my throne, so be it. The room was silent. Then, one of the eldest council members, a woman named Seraphina, stepped forward. Her expression was unreadable. You would give up everything for her? Everything, Alaric said without hesitation. Seraphina's lips curved into the smallest smile. Then perhaps there is hope for us yet. She turned to the council. The king has made his choice. And perhaps it is time we stop fearing the light and start learning from it. I vote to let the girl stay. One by one, the others nodded. It was not unanimous. But it was enough. When the council left, Miriam collapsed into a chair, shaking with relief. Alaric knelt in front of her, just like he had that night in the library. You did it, she whispered. We did it, he corrected. The triplets ran into the room, crashing into both of them with hugs and laughter. Celeste grabbed Miriam's hand. Elias grabbed Alaric's. Thea stood in the middle and grinned. Does this mean you are staying forever? Thea asked. Miriam looked at Alaric. He looked at her. Forever, Miriam said. That night, after the children were asleep, Miriam returned to their room one last time. She knelt between their beds, just like she had that first night. But this time, she was not desperate. She was grateful. She closed her eyes, clasped her hands, and prayed. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for saving them. Thank you for bringing me here. I do not know what the future holds, but I know I am exactly where I am supposed to be. The room did not glow this time. There was no golden light. But there was peace. Deep, unshakable peace. She felt a hand on her shoulder and looked up. Alaric stood there, his expression soft. What were you praying for? He asked. I was not praying for anything, she said, standing. I was just saying thank you. He pulled her close, resting his chin on top of her head. I should be the one thanking you. You gave me my children back. You gave me my life back. You gave me a family, she said. A home. A love I never thought I would find. They stood there in the quiet, holding each other, two broken people made whole. Alaric pulled back just enough to look into her eyes. "Marry me." Miriam's breath caught. "What?" "Marry me," he said again, his voice steady and sure. "Be my queen. Be their mother. Let me spend eternity proving to you that you are the best thing that ever happened to us." Tears spilled down her cheeks. Yes. Yes. 1,000 times yes. He kissed her, and somewhere in the castle, the triplets were definitely not asleep and definitely cheering. 3 months later, they were married in the garden under the stars. Miriam wore a gown the color of moonlight. Alaric wore the smile of a man who had forgotten how to hope and learned again. The triplets stood beside them, holding flowers, their faces glowing with joy. And when the priest asked if anyone objected, Celeste loudly announced, "If you object, you have to fight me." The crowd laughed. Alaric laughed. Miriam laughed until she cried. They became a family. A strange, impossible, beautiful family. And every night, before bed, Miriam would kneel beside the triplets and teach them to pray. Not prayers of desperation, but prayers of gratitude. Alaric would stand in the doorway and listen, his heart full. He had been a king for centuries. But it was not until Miriam that he learned what it meant to truly live. And she, a simple maid's daughter, became the queen who united two worlds. All because of one dangerous, unthinkable, beautiful prayer. 10 years later, the castle that had once been a place of shadows and silence now rang with laughter every single day. The triplets were 15 now, no longer the fragile children who had once laid dying in their beds. Celeste had become a fierce warrior, training with the royal guard. Elias had discovered a gift for healing magic, studying under the same court healer who had once declared them unsavable. And Thea, sweet Thea, had developed a love for singing, her voice so pure it made even the coldest vampires weep. But their favorite thing, the thing they never missed, was Sunday evening prayer with their mother. Miriam sat in the garden chapel she had built, a small stone room with open windows that let in the moonlight. The triplets sat around her, now taller than her, but still eager to bow their heads when she began to speak. Alaric stood at the entrance, watching. He always watched. Even after a decade of marriage, he still could not believe this was his life. After the prayer ended, Celeste turned to her mother with a grin. "Mama, tell us again. Tell us about the night you saved us." Miriam laughed. "You have heard that story 100 times. And we will hear it 100 more," Elias said, leaning his head on her shoulder. So she told it again. The fear. The desperation. The dangerous prayer. The light that had poured from her hands. And the moment she had realized that love was stronger than any curse. When she finished, Thea hugged her tightly. "You are the bravest person in the world." "No," Miriam said, kissing her forehead. "I was just a girl who believed that even in the darkest places, God still listens." Alaric finally stepped into the room. The triplets knew that look. It was the look that said he wanted time alone with their mother. They giggled, kissed them both, and ran off into the night. Miriam stood and walked into her husband's arms. He held her close, breathing her in. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked quietly. "Giving up the sun? A normal life?" She had chosen, 3 years into their marriage, to be turned. To walk beside him forever. It had been her choice. Fully hers. She pulled back and looked into his eyes. "I did not give up anything. I gained everything." He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. "I love you, Miriam Thorne. My queen. My heart. My answered prayer." She smiled against his mouth. And I love you, Alaric. My king. My protector. My forever. They stood in the chapel, wrapped in each other, surrounded by the life they had built. A life born from faith, from love, from a desperate girl who dared to pray in a castle of darkness. And somewhere, beyond the stars, beyond the veil, that prayer was still echoing. Still working. Still proving that nothing, absolutely nothing, is impossible for love. Before you go, I want to say thank you. Thank you for letting me take you on this journey. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe in love again, do me a favor. Share it. Send it to someone who needs hope. Leave a comment telling me how it made you feel. And subscribe, because we have so many more stories to tell. Stories of love, of redemption, of the impossible becoming possible. You are not just a viewer. You are family. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Until then, keep believing. Keep hoping. Keep loving. This is just the beginning.